Currently, the environment surrounding Sosei World and the Fukai Soken is starting to undergo significant change. Recent technological advances have enabled Sosei Water H1 to be transformed into Sosei Fuel Water, realizing the goal of harnessing the energy contained within water. An operational system has been completed, and now the project is due to be put into practical use. Water, otherwise known as H2O, consists of hydrogen, which is currently being advocated as a source of energy, along with oxygen, which is essential for combustion. On a purely atomic level, it is natural to conclude that this is a potential source of energy. However, a great amount of energy is required to break the strong molecular bonds of water in order to separate the hydrogen and oxygen. Therefore, more traditional methods, such as hydroelectric plants and steam turbines, have been used to harness the energy of water. Nuclear power plants use the heat generated by radiation to turn water into steam, which then runs steam turbines to generate electricity. It can be said that the use of water in the energy industry is limited to these applications. Around 20 years ago, while searching for water that can be used for cleaning without relying on chemicals, our representative director, Toshiharu Fukai, realized that the Sosei water created through his research contained a large amount of hydrogen. From then on, he was determined to find a way to harness the energy of water. Now he has finally realized that dream. We would like to explain this in more detail. Firstly, let's hear from the inventor himself, Mr. Toshiharu Fukai. Now we would like to introduce the special water that we have developed. We hope that this water can be used to trigger a revolution in the energy industry. This process can be explained as follows. How do you think that water could cause an energy revolution? I'm sure you would agree that if ordinary water found in rainfall and rivers could be used in the same manner as oil, it would definitely be a momentous discovery. Decades of research have gone into the technology of mixing oil and water to create an emulsified fuel for combustion. However, so far this research has failed to deliver any successful prototypes. This is because such research was not done under the guidance of an expert in the science of water. Under the assumption that oil and water do not mix, surfactants and emulsifiers were used to try and aid combustion in engines and boilers. This did not produce any calorific energy. Nitrogen oxide emissions may have been reduced, but this was by no means an energy revolution. This prevented such technology from spreading around the world. However, I was determined to use water to start a revolution. From here on, I will explain a little about the science of water. I'm sure that you all believe that water left alone soon becomes stagnant. Water and oil do not mix. Water always has the H2O molecular structure. What if I told you that your preconceptions are incorrect? Water and oil can be mixed. Water left alone can be prevented from going stagnant. This all depends on the quality of the water. Atomic hydrogen is an important concept that requires further explanation. As stated on many online sources, it is often said that the proton effect and atomic hydrogen is effective at preventing and inhibiting cancer. However, the medical community has yet to acknowledge its benefits for molecular hydrogen. So what methods can be used to measure the presence of atomic hydrogen? It was reported more than 10 years ago in scientific journals such as Science that Professor Shirahata at Kyushu University was successfully able to perform measurements on atomic hydrogen. There is another simple measurement method available. I'm sure that you are all familiar with hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. This is a typical reactive oxygen species, but when water is introduced, it decomposes and oxygen gas is generated. If atomic hydrogen is present, the H2 molecules help generate approximately 3 times the volume of oxygen gas. This can be measured to confirm that atomic hydrogen is indeed present. This is a reliable method for determining whether atomic hydrogen is present in water, and you can even try it yourself. The Sosei water that I was able to develop contains atomic hydrogen, and experimental results have confirmed that it remains within the water without decomposition even after several years have passed. From there, I was able to further increase the amount of atomic hydrogen and develop the more stable Sosei water H1. I then carried out a range of tests. When we want to look into the human body to check for diseases such as cancer, we often take an X-ray image. To confirm the presence of atomic hydrogen, I have discovered a method that works in a similar manner to X-ray imaging. That method uses an engine such as the one here. It doesn't matter if it is a gasoline engine or a diesel engine. My theory states that if atomic hydrogen is present, hydrogen gas fills the cylinder and the engine will run. However, it will not run on molecular hydrogen. It is easy to imagine that an engine will break down if a significant amount of water is introduced. The engine stops. The more water that is introduced, the higher the probability that the engine will stop. This is a matter of fact. This happens with regular water in which the H2O structure contains molecular hydrogen. We carried out an experiment using commercially available high-pressure hydrogen injected water. The results showed that the engine did not run. We then tried using water purified by reverse osmosis. It was expected that water would be available to run the engine as it had a high surface tension of 71.2. However, the engine still did not work. No matter what type of water we used, we were unable to run the engine. I was sure that if only the water contained atomic hydrogen, we would be able to successfully run the engine. Mixing 10 or 20% of this water would allow the engine to run, generate sufficient heat and reduce overall fuel consumption. In other words, it would be able to be used in a similar manner as an X-ray to determine the presence of atomic hydrogen. We successfully demonstrated this phenomenon, and currently the special water we developed is being put to use to run maritime vessels. Now, I wish to explain the production process and usage of Sosei fuel water. Here, there is water. Here is some oil. This water is Sosei water used in household or commercial applications that has been circulated for several days. I would like to explain the concepts behind Sosei water. We have been working hard to promote the use of a type of water we call Sosei water. We can install a device immediately after the water meter that converts all the water used in the home or business into Sosei water. This eliminates the need for chemicals such as detergent. Sosei water makes it much easier to do your laundry, wash your hair and wash the dishes. Sosei water can be stored in a tank and stirred for a period of a few hours to a few days. This increases the amount of atomic hydrogen, and once stabilized, it can be placed into a tank. This water now contains a significant amount of energy. This miraculous water contains a large amount of atomic hydrogen and is perfectly drinkable. It is fed along with the oil that is stored in a container next to it. Of course, no surfactants are used in this process. The oil and water mixture flows directly into the engine without any interference. Usually you would expect the engine to stop. However, in this case it continues to run smoothly. The oil that is not used is emulsified, as shown here. The oil and water are perfectly mixed. This solution will not separate, even when left for an extended period of time. It can now be used alone as a source of energy. This proves that water can be changed into a source of energy. As demonstrated, an engine is able to run when water is added to the fuel. However, this does not mean that simply increasing the amount of water will increase the amount of energy that can be harnessed. When compared with molecular hydrogen gas, atomic hydrogen has 3.8 times the amount of energy. Therefore, simply adding 10 to 15% of this water can significantly reduce the overall fuel consumption. This is thought to be due to the same phenomenon that causes the production of hydrogen gas during steam reforming. This water differs from regular water due to its ability to emulsify. This is diesel fuel. It turns white when emulsified. Therefore, there is no need to use detergent. Shampoo is also not needed. This also eliminates the need for kitchen detergent. This miraculous water is used in many restaurants, beauty salons, laundry shops, and households as an environmentally friendly alternative. This is the origin of my invention. It has since evolved to become fuel water. This video contains several examples of practical applications of this water. Everything shown here is the absolute truth. Once you see it, I'm sure you will be a believer. Please consider the many ways that this invention can bring innovation to the 21st century. The power supplied to the Japanese people mainly comes from thermal power generation, and 68% is based on petroleum. Other methods, such as wind and nuclear power, make up 28%. The Japanese government is working hard to reduce the amount of petroleum-based energy to a level lower than 68%. Everyone, can you imagine how life would change if this value of 68% was able to be halved? I invite you to consider the possibilities. Just imagine. I hope my message is loud and clear. Now let's hear from Professor Emeritus Masanori Aritomi from the Tokyo Institute of Technology, who has examined various data and watched footage of experiments regarding Sosei fuel water. I have high expectations for this technology. There are 2 or 3 main points that I would like to express. The most important point is how Mr. Tsuruno, Professor Emeritus at the National Defense Academy, found there was an incorrect assumption that a 50% mixture of Sosei fuel water and fuel would result in only a 50% of the calorific heat output if the water itself did not combust. In fact, the calorific heat output was measured to be more than 50% and as high as 70%.
それが 50% 以上 70% とかそういうあれになってるから何らかの形で
This proved that Sosei water did contain a significant amount of atomic hydrogen in some form. Atomic hydrogen has not been verified chemically by anyone so far. However, the exact mechanism that causes Sosei water to contain atomic hydrogen has been proposed in different ways by 3 scientists. Therefore, we can be confident that atomic hydrogen is actually present. Fuel mixed with regular tap water and pure water has been shown experimentally to be unable to run an engine. However, the fact that the same proportion of Sosei water is able to reliably run an engine is the most important lesson I have learned so far. The second lesson is how Sosei water is able to effectively remove oil stains. When washing dishes or cleaning greasy hair, it is possible to do so without the need for detergent. During the experiments on the engine, a fuel-to-water ratio of 65% and 35% respectively was used. The resulting oil was found to have a milky white color. This perfectly homogeneous mixture showed that Sosei fuel water somehow had the properties of a surfactant. This was the second lesson that I learned. These were the 2 main things that this new technology taught me. Regular water has a molecular hydrogen solubility of only around 1.6 ppm, so even if you attempted to burn it, there would be very little heat generated. However, until now we did not understand how atomic hydrogen could be present in water, as it would be impossible for such an amount to be present in a gaseous state. I think that it must be present in the water as a liquid. It goes without saying that the reduction in overall fuel consumption leads to less CO2 emissions. I am expecting that it will also reduce the amount of nitrogen oxide emissions. Footage of experiments with a diesel generator and a small gasoline generator using heavy fuel oil A has been distributed on DVD and uploaded to YouTube. This sped-up footage showed an entire uncut experiment. Here we will introduce part of this experiment. This experiment shows the capabilities of SFW when using a diesel generator. The fuel oil and SFW are blended in a transparent tube and then passed through a mixer before being supplied to the engine. First, we will measure the amount of time it takes a generator connected to 7 floodlights to consume 100 cc of fuel oil. It took 129 seconds to use all of the 100 cc of heavy fuel oil A when outputting 30 amperes to light up 7 floodlights. Next, we open the closed SFW supply valve to mix the heavy fuel oil A with the SFW while operating the generator under the same conditions. The operating time exceeds the 129 seconds obtained when operating with only heavy fuel oil A, as it takes 234 seconds to use all of the 100 cc of heavy fuel oil A. 57 cc of SFW was used to create the mixture this time. You can see here the results of the experiment using a diesel generator. Calculating this for the same amount of operating time shows that there is a 44.88% reduction in the amount of heavy fuel oil A. We must point out again that SFW is normal drinking water with no additives. The main difference with normal water is that it contains a large amount of atomic hydrogen. We also measured exhaust gases at the same time. The amount of carbon monoxide indicating incomplete combustion did not increase while the waste heat temperature increased, meaning that the heat was not lost due to SFW evaporation, but rather it was used in combustion. The hydrogen molecules also increased as a result of the decomposition and combustion of the water. To put these results in simpler terms, the 105 seconds of generated power that exceeded the 129 seconds of power generated with only 100 cc of heavy fuel oil A was created from the 57 cc of SFW. Next, we performed an experiment using a small gasoline generator. The elapsed time for the level of the gasoline to pass from A to B while maintaining an output of 4.3 amperes was 188 seconds. Next, we will measure under the same condition while opening the closed SFW supply tube to mix the gasoline with SFW. It took 234 seconds for the fuel level to pass B. 2 cc of SFW was used to create the mixture this time. Let's have a look at the results. Although simple equipment was used, as can be seen by looking at the flow of the experiment, the change in pressure due to the change in the remaining amount of liquid with this equipment results in a gradual increase in the amount of inflowing SFW. Although operation is normally performed by maintaining a fixed oil and water pressure by use of an auxiliary tank, mixing the initial small amount of SFW in this experiment resulted in a gradual change in pressure and an increase in the mixed quantity. The engine stops when the amount of SFW increases excessively. For normal operation, when it is not necessary to monitor the changes in quantity, a larger rate of reduction can be obtained by maintaining a mixture ratio of SFW and gasoline that is similar to that of the diesel generator. This completes the presentation of the video of our experiments. For more information, please refer to the 28-minute full-length video on the YouTube channel. Next, we will cover experiments with a new model high-capacity generator using diesel oil. In the same manner as with heavy fuel oil A experiments, we can compare the generation performance of 100% diesel oil with the performance when using fuel mixed with Sosei fuel water. The results of these experiments are as shown. Next, we can measure this with Sosei fuel water blended fuel. By making the fuel piping transparent, it is possible to visually confirm that Sosei fuel water is being blended with the fuel. Visitors who observe our experiments often question us about the blended ratio of Sosei fuel water supplied via the fuel piping. In order to improve visibility, transparent fuel pipes have been adopted so that visitors can easily see the different sources. Depending on the particular type of fuel used, the optimal Sosei fuel water mixing amount can vary. After performing a range of tests, we found that the synergistic effect of energy from atomic hydrogen in SOSAE fuel water and energy from steam explosions when using conventional emulsified fuel can vary depending on the type of fuel used. When a suitable mixing amount, even a small amount of mixing, can lead to a significant reduction in fuel consumption. Although fuel consumption can vary depending on the power used, a relatively constant amount of fuel is supplied to the diesel engine and unused fuel returned. Although this generator usually sends the return fuel to a tank, the flow path was modified to allow measurement of the volume. The results of these experiments are as shown. Compared with the results of examinations using diesel fuel 100%, the fuel reduction of 56.2% has been confirmed as an average value measured in 5 experiments. We also carried out experiments to determine whether the resultant mixed oil solution alone could be used as fuel. After carrying out experiments with varying SOSAE fuel-water mixing ratios, the resulting oil solution became clear after long-term storage, with the oil and water becoming perfectly homogeneous. This stable resulting oil solution can be used to run an engine while mixing with SOSAE fuel-water, in the same manner as with the previous experiment. After measuring, we could get the same results as the ones in the examinations with diesel oil and SOSAE fuel water. Compared with the results of examinations using diesel oil 100%, the fuel reduction of 53.6% has been confirmed in an average value measured in 5 experiments. These are the results of the analysis that we requested be carried out on the resulting oil from the experiment. Although originally made by mixing SOSAE fuel water, the perfectly homogeneous resulting oil contained only 0.03% water, which is almost the same as the original diesel oil. Therefore, it is thought that this homogeneous oil solution would give the same results as when mixing with 100% pure diesel oil. This shows the potential of using the resulting oil after the SOSAE fuel water mixing process as a fuel without any other additives. Diesel engines running on diesel oil have already started to be put into service in Malaysia. A union of Chinese fishermen working off the eastern coast of Malaysia soon adopted the use of SOSAE fuel water. Here you can see some actual footage of them in operation.
2番と4番が水だね。どういうエンジンかということを調べる。それが基本なのね。
特性みたいなものですね。はい、
これに対してこれと水を入れても同じ状況、もしくはその CO にも CO2 にしても少なくなれば完全燃焼してる、不完全燃焼してれば CO が桁違いに大きくなる。それを見ながらその水と空気の調整をするんですね。あ、いいよいいよ、持ってっていいよ、引っ張っていいよ。
Following the diesel engine, we also ran tests on a gasoline engine using our company's vehicle. This is a video showing the early stages of the tests. Although some quantitative variation in flow was observed, the engine was supplied alternatively with gasoline and a fuel mixing containing Sosei fuel water. We would like to highlight the fact that we were successfully able to run the engine in a stable manner. As a result, we found that fuel mixed with Sosei fuel water was able to run the engine with a performance equivalent to pure gasoline. Professor Aritomi travelled to Nagano Prefecture to observe these experiments in action, and we would like to introduce his findings. His findings are as follows. Firstly, he could confirm that Sosei fuel water combusted in the examination of the gasoline engine. Secondly, a technology is needed to mix gasoline and Sosei fuel water homogeneously, like heavy fuel oil A or diesel oil. Thirdly, the resulting oil solution became homogeneous in the examination on the diesel engine. It is promising for fuel efficiency and CO2 reduction. Since the resulting oil solution changed its colour from milky white to translucent yellow over time, he also added that there is a need to verify the fuel efficiency in this state and to seek an optimal blending ratio. The examination with the stable resulting oil solution you have seen earlier has been conducted, followed by the last comment of his. After completing the Sosei fuel water gasoline engine tests on a reciprocating engine, as shown previously, we then started collecting data from tests on a rotary engine. A mechanism to mix Sosei fuel water with gasoline was added to the engine fuel system, and tests were carried out with the engine and exhaust system left unaltered. Here you can see the test setup. During the test, we compared the performance of the engine running in gasoline mode with Sosei fuel water mode. After accelerating the engine from low to high speed, we were able to collect performance data without encountering any engine knocking.
じゃあこれから水を入れたいと思います。こちらにあるのがSoseiフューエルウォーターが入っております。でこちらの電磁弁を今こちらのスイッチをオンすれば調整されたバルブの量だけ入るようになっております。ではスイッチオンします。注入開始。
The final version of the system used automatic control to open a solenoid valve that introduces Sosei fuel water when the accelerator is depressed after idling. This valve then closes once the accelerator is released. Although there were slight variations in the measurement values due to differing traffic conditions, road surfaces and slope gradients, we measured a fuel consumption reduction of around 50%. This was the same as what we observed with the diesel engine. In the future, we plan to carry out further tests according to the JC08 test cycle established by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism. In regards to practical application of this new technology, we plan to provide vehicle repair facilities and even gas stations with Sosei fuel water units. These units can be easily installed inside a gasoline tank. Customers will be able to easily purchase Sosei fuel water in large aluminium packs. These Sosei fuel water packs can be used as a source of energy or as a source of superior drinking water. You may be surprised by the concept of turning drinkable water into energy. There are currently no viable methods for converting water into energy that can be harnessed. Our technology can be used to convert regular water into Sosei water, which is then further refined until it becomes Sosei fuel water. Water that is used in our daily lives and provides us with necessary hydration also contains a large amount of energy that can be harnessed when it is mixed with fuel oil. This fact has led to great interest from major companies within Japan and abroad, and these core concepts have been gaining a lot of momentum. Without having to rely on limited resources of fossil fuels or nuclear power that has a dubious safety record, being able to use water as an abundant source of energy is a novel way to solve environmental issues such as CO2 emissions and improve the various problems currently faced by the energy industry. Even in the COP21, where world leaders discuss and express measures for climate change, there are no effective and specific measures for goals. Sosei fuel water, which can reduce greatly the use of fossil fuel, is a great driving force for reducing greenhouse gases such as CO2. This is the goal that we have been pursuing since our inception. The unlimited potential of water. One such potential has been realized and put into practical use. Japan is a country with abundant supplies of water. It is now possible to convert this water into energy. Water that has been converted into active hydrogen water that is full of atomic hydrogen also provides a number of health benefits. It is poised to start an energy revolution. Japan is a country without its own oil reserves. This water technology can be used to create something even better than oil. It has been developed with the goal of spreading around the world and revolutionizing the energy industry, leading to the elimination of conflict over energy resources and narrowing the gap between rich and poor. I hope that you can all be messengers to spread the news of this marvelous technology around the world. For this, I sincerely thank you. It is you who can spread this technology, which will change the world and bring richness and peace to the masses.